Hello, welcome to the Big Gardens Grow Your Own summer program. My name is Stephanie Finklia. Today's lesson is all about pollinators. In this lesson, we'll learn some common pollinators and common garden bugs. We'll learn why they're important. We'll learn how we can protect them, and we'll learn different plants that they enjoy. So let's get started by learning about some different common pollinators and garden bugs with Elagia.
One of the most common pollinators is the bumblebee. The bumblebee's scientific name is Bombus apidae, and there are over 250 species that exist of the bumblebee. The bumblebee collects nectar and pollen from the flower of the plant. It then sticks to the fuzzy part of the bee's body. Then, as the bee visits the next flower, it rubs off pollen from the last plant. This will promote fertilization, and eventually the plant will produce fruits and seeds. The next common pollinator is the monarch butterfly. The monarch butterfly's scientific name is Danaus plexippus. The monarch butterfly has a two-way migration system, one like a bird. It is the only butterfly to do this. The monarch butterfly migrates south towards Mexico to spend the winter there. When it warms up again, the monarch will migrate back north. They can migrate 50 to 100 miles per day. The monarch butterfly pollinates during the day when flowers are open. As I am looking for common bugs, I'm going to use a trowel to dig holes to see if I can find anything. The next bug I have found is an earthworm. Earthworms increase nutrients in the soil. They help drain water and air throughout the soil for a better soil structure. They also eat plant debris like dead roots and leaves. Once they eat the dead roots and leaves, they produce worm castings that are beneficial to the soil because it is a natural fertilizer.
So why are pollinators important? They're important because they're a crucial step in producing the foods we like to eat, like watermelon, cherries, and apples, tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, and even cocoa that makes chocolate. The pollinators provide a crucial step in getting pollen from the stamen part of the flower to the pistil part of the flower, so that seeds and fruit can be produced. The seeds are important because they produce more plants and more flowers and more of the foods we like to eat. The flowers of a plant, like those of the strawberry plant, produce beautiful, brightly colored petals that help attract insects that pollinate them, like honeybees, ants, and flies. The pollinators walk across the flower and get their legs caught in the pollen part of the flower, the pollen-giving part of the flower, which is the stamen. The stamen produces pollen that gets on the legs of the insect. The insect then passes over the pistil, which is the pollen-receiving portion. That pollen goes down a tube and into the ovaries of the flower. That is where the seeds can be produced. And sometimes, and especially in the case of strawberries, it produces the fruit.
Now let's talk about ways to protect pollinators. One of the most important ways to protect pollinators is to stop using pesticides. Pesticides are a substance used for destroying insects or other organisms harmful to cultivating plants or animals. Instead of using pesticides to manage weeds, hand-pick weeds or use a trowel to dig up stubborn roots. You can also put mulch down to help suppress further weeds and also to help with water retention. Another way to protect pollinators is a pollinator garden. A pollinator garden is a garden made up of native plants and plants that help produce a lot of pollen to attract pollinators. Some native plants to Nebraska that pollinators love are bee balm, yarrow, purple coneflower echinacea, and black-eyed Susan. There are also many other flowers and native plants that you can use to start your pollinator garden.
of plants are pollinators attracted to? Basically, anything with a flower. They like flowers that have brightly colored petals and have lots of nectar and pollen. So things like this purple coneflower here, or the yarrow that you see back there. They're also attracted to flowers that are fragrant, like this chamomile. They also love flowers like sunflowers, butterfly milkweed, snapdragons, bachelor's button, and bee balm. Planting things like that in your garden is going to help them find your crop plants that you've planted, like your tomatoes or your cucumbers. Thank you for joining us with this lesson on pollinators, where we've learned some common pollinators and common garden bugs, the importance of pollinators, what they're attracted to, and how you can protect them. If you liked this video, please let your site director know or give us a comment. Please join us again for another video. Go outside and take a look at your pollinators.